Hello everybody, my name is Iolite. No, I cannot go with that. I sound too much like Markiplier. Hello everyone, it's Iolite, and welcome to the video. I'd first like to start off apologising for any background noise you might hear, like that train going past right now. My cat decided he wanted to go outside before I started filming, so now I have to keep the door open. So I'm getting fresh air, and so are you. But anyway, on to the video. Being a furry is pretty weird. And because it's pretty weird, it can spark quite a few questions in people's minds, even in the minds of other furries. So in this video, I asked people on my TikTok and my Discord to ask me a few questions about being a furry in general. Some of these are also more exclusive to me and my experience personally within the fandom, but hopefully they're still going to be somewhat entertaining, interesting. I don't know how much you actually care about me, we'll find out. Fur in my mouth. Welcome to my furry Q&A. Let's jump right in. I will be looking at my phone, my other phone, to read your questions. Woolly Ant asks, how do you care for your suit, and what kind of maintenance do people normally overlook? Good question. I have a mini partial suit that's only a head, hand paws, and a tail that you can't see right now. Because you can't. The main care goes into the head, obviously, because it's part around my face, but it's just more effort doing the head. So for the inside of the head, I will get tissue and stuff the eyes of my fursuit inside so that the paint doesn't run before I spray the alcohol spray that I put inside. Basically, this fursuit spray is a 50-50 mix between isopropyl alcohol and water. It gets sprayed inside my suit and basically it just gets rid of all the little nasties that can form inside, I suppose. I'm quite lucky that I don't sweat very much when I'm suiting or just really at all in general. I'm not saying I don't sweat at all, but I'm not really a head sweaty person at least, so it's not as much as some people can have, but I still do it regardless because hygiene is important. For the outside of the head, I use one of these guys. This is an upholstery cleaner or a carpet cleaner. I would show you the one I have in person, but I can't be bothered. It's in the cupboard. And I basically... Why are you meowing for? Shut up. I basically stuff the eyes again, but on the outside with tissue this time, and then I just go along the head following the instructions on the machine, and in my fursuit care guide that my maker kindly provided for me. For the hands, I do the same thing with the alcohol spray inside and upholstery cleaning on the outside, and for the tail, I just use the upholstery cleaner because it's just a tail. If I had a full suit, it would be a bit more different, but I don't have one. And it also depends on the maker of your fursuit. Most makers' suits, as far as I'm aware, their heads can't really go in the washing machine or anything, but I know that there are a few that apparently can, because I've seen people put their heads in a washing machine or a delicate wash. I'm like, okay, you do you. I don't think I'm going to be doing that today. As for maintenance people normally overlook, I would say cleaning and brushing their suit in general, and hygiene in general. Brushing your suit is important. Obviously don't brush it too hard. Faux fur can shed, it doesn't grow back, it's not real fur. Unlike some people like to believe for some reason, but it doesn't grow back, so you need to brush it gently, normally with a slicker brush like you would for pets. Although on your fursuit head's face, you would do it very gently, if not at all, with a more gentle brush, because you can get bald patches. Brushing your fur is important to make it look good. And yes, suits can mat and get heat damaged as they get older, especially in areas like your pits. But if your suit literally looks like an old shag rug with matting and dirt all over it, please sort that out. That is disgusting, and I bet it stinks. Speaking of stinking, deodorant is not a shower. Please have a shower before and after you go out on suiting. Please, if you sleep in your sweat, you will stink. Just have a shower. Deodorant doesn't count. It just adds on to it. No one wants to smell that. Chip asks, fun? Fun. So much fun. The funnest of the fun. Cheesy and Pugloaf69 both ask, how hot does the head get inside? Well, obviously I don't have a thermostat, so I can't say a specific temperature, but I can tell you it does get hot. It gets very hot, especially on very sunny days or very warm days. However, depending again on the maker of your suit and the ventilation, these things can change. Heck, it can even change depending on the colour of your suit. I'm not even joking. My suit has pretty good ventilation in the mouth, eyes, and some parts of the gaps near my shoulders give me a bit of air, especially when there's a breeze. However, if the air is stagnant, it's really hot, you're going to melt into a puddle. And there's another train. And I lost my train of thought. Speaking of trains, oh yeah, how hot is the head? But even in cool weather it can still get hot. So to keep cool, I would recommend drinking room temperature or slightly cool water, not cold or ice cold. It can send you into shock. And also a fan of some kind, an electric fan of some kind. Like this one, the one that I own. Again, it's somewhere out in my other room. I can't be bothered to get it. Here is a picture. Keeping cool is very important. The head does get very hot, as does the rest of your body if you have a full suit. Not that I have one and not that I can tell you, but maybe I can soon. Who knows? Oh yeah, and that bit about colour that I mentioned, if he also has a darker colour fur, like black for example, then black absorbs heat a lot more and you will find yourself a little bit hotter than someone with, say, a white or a pink suit. You know, like a bright coloured suit. Connie asks, how soft? Very soft. Very floofy. Very pretty. Winter, I'm assuming it's winter but it's spelled weird, asks, can you show us what it looks like inside the head and the vision with and without eyelids? Yeah, I can, however I'm lazy, so I'm just going to insert the TikTok that I made to answer this question before.
My maker lets us pick a custom sort of lining for ourselves, as you can see here inside. And she has her like logo on here. Inside of my head I have some adjustable padding I can take out, and some here too as well. It's you can remove it with like Velcro here. This definitely is not the most awkward thing I've ever recorded. This is sort of like the visibility with the eyelid, and that's without. Obviously it looks a lot better in person. The camera will pick up all the little like grating on the eye. But yeah, that's similar for the other eye as well.
And there you go. I hope you found that interesting. Similarly, Ollie asks, how would I rate the vision in the head? My vision, actually, I would say for a fursuit, pretty solid. I have a blind spot in the middle here, so currently I can't actually see the camera lens. I can see the whole phone, but not the camera lens. The blind spot's not that big at all. I have a big blind spot below here, so if there's any children around, I will just trample them. And the worst part is with Follow Me Eyes, not only will I trample them, it will look like I'm staring them in the soul as I do it. I also have eyelids I can attach to the suit, which make it slightly harder to see above, but to be honest, there's not much I need to see above. And obviously I've got a fringe, which sometimes gets in the way of my eye, but that's how it happens in real life too, so who cares? Overall, the vision in my fursuit head I would say is really good. Again, it depends on the maker. I've heard that dino masks can either be really, really good or absolutely terrible, and there's basically no in between. Ode the Husky asks, so pineapples, yes? Man, these are supposed to be furry questions. Pineapples, no pineapples. Pineapples literally try to eat you. Pineapples literally have an enzyme that like breaks down meat proteins. If you ever wondered why you've eaten a pineapple and it makes your lips feel tingly or kind of sore, it's because it's eating you back. Also, they kind of just taste a bit disgusting. They are good on pizza though. Sunny the Bird asks, I know the ears are made of foam and whatnot, but how is their balance? If I tip my head really fast side to side like this, you can see that the head kind of drags along. Otherwise, the ears are actually really, really light because they're made of foam. The balance with these ears is really good. I've never had any sort of balance issues walking around. Then again, it depends on who you are. If you're the kind of person who gets balance issues wearing headphones, then I don't think it would be the best idea. But for me, my balance is really good. The only real issue I have with my ears is that when I'm trying to walk through a door of some kind, I sometimes get stuck. Like those puppies you see, or the dogs where they have a big stick and they try to go through a fence and they just go boink. Jace King Fallon asks, what is the best moment I've had when fursuiting? What's the worst thing about fursuiting in my opinion? I think the funniest thing for me when I was fursuiting, like the funniest moment I've had so far, was when I was at London Furs and I was doing the fursuit walk. London Furs is like a furry meet in London. I was doing the fursuit walk to the park, and along this walk there's a bunch of vehicles and a bunch of people just trying to mind their own business, and also quite a few restaurants we walked past. And my favourite thing to do is to wave at all these people. Wave at the people on the tourist buses, wave at the people in the restaurants and things like that, you know? I like to get people involved if they're looking at me, especially because it looks like I'm looking at them no matter who they are. You know, I'm looking over here, but I'm looking at you. But this one time I waved at like a couple in this restaurant. You know, I was walking along, having all fun. I went, you know, my little wave, my little cute wave. And they just turned around and went, me. I was like, okay, fair enough. As to the other part of the question, I think the worst thing about fursuiting is probably the heat. It does get a bit unbearable. Also, for me personally, I'm definitely afraid of damaging my suit. I have a whole story I could tell about when I was going to Comic-Con and getting my suit damaged. There might be a reason why one of my ears is slightly wigglier than the other one. Matt asks, am I really 19? At the time of asking this question, yes. Yes, I was 19. However, you asked this question a while ago because I delayed this video. So I am now 20 years old. I was actually 20 in June. That's how delayed this video is. I am 20 years old. However, if you ask TikTok Live, apparently I'm 15 because I get suspended there all the time. Jenny, Funny, Sunny, I don't really know how you read that, but they have a poop emoji in their name. They ask, how confident do I feel to express my roofiness? Fursuiting gives me a confidence in life that I don't think I've ever had anywhere else. It's one of those things where I feel like when I'm suiting and I'm out and about, I can genuinely just act and be however I feel. I don't have to pretend, I don't have to put on a mask or a face for anyone. Even though I am technically putting on a mask of some kind. But I can truly act however I like and not feel judgment from people. Well, you know, I'll feel judgment from people who are like, hey, furries! But I'm a big fox bro. I don't care. Definitely makes me feel so confident. It's unbelievable. It's definitely been a world of good for me. I just got a notification from Furry Amino. I didn't even know I had that installed still. What in the actual heck? Anyway, Boss Juggler 54 asks, do I have a full fursuit? Not yet. Soon. Soon come. Soon come. Hope asks, this may sound awkward, but you sound like Sky High Studios. Are you Australian? Honestly, I never heard this until this question was asked. I never heard the resemblance, and then I'm looking back at some stuff and I'm like, what in the heck? But no, I am not Australian, I am in fact British. Water and all that. Yeah. Carnage asks, is it comfy? So comfy. Well, as comfy as it can get, you know, it's a fursuit head. It's not the best feeling to have a big thing weighing on your face, but I don't feel any uncomfortableness from this. I'm actually quite comfy other than the slight heat. It's actually quite cool in my house right now though, especially with the door open because of my cat. Egam asks, why are the hands, feet and head always so big? Fursuits usually have like a cartoony style. Because they're in like a cartoony style, they tend to have quite exaggerated size. So, you know, like an exaggerated size head and hands and feet. I've seen some that are absolutely massive. You can get realistic proportion suits or like realistic style suits that aren't normally as big. And also, if you're referring specifically to me, like, and my suit, I am just tiny. I am a tiny person. Bryagan Darkfur asks, how long have I been in the fandom? This is a question I get quite often. I would say I've been in the fandom for about 8 years, close to 9 years now. I've known about the fandom for a solid 9 years. Like, I remember seeing pictures of like fursuits when I was googling werewolves when I was younger. Because I used to have a really big obsession with werewolves when I was younger. I used to pretend to be a werewolf at school and stuff. And then I saw fursuits, I was like, I don't want that, go away, what is that? I'm looking for werewolves. But then eventually I saw other stuff and I was like, actually, hang on a minute. Because I can do that myself. Little did I know it would take me 8 years to actually get to this point. But Apollo Draws and the Meminator ask, how heavy is my head? I've never actually weighed my head before. I don't have a scale to weigh my head. However, I would say that my head is probably a bit heavier than average fursuit heads. For starters, my head is bigger, just in general a little bit, and also because of the ears. It has to be a bit bigger because otherwise it wouldn't be able to support my ears. It doesn't really feel heavy on my head at all. Picking up, however, it is a bit heavy for me. However, I just have like noodle arms, so a bit heavier than average, but not that heavy actually. This person asks, where is my father figure? I have two, but here is my dad flying a very huge drone in this exact living room and terrifying the living daylights out of me.
Oh my god!
That's silly, you guys.
That's terrifying, but also really cool.
I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, it was kind of terrifying. Anarchy asks, how big are the ears? This big. Honestly, I've never measured them. Okay, so my Discord mod, George the Protogen, had a metric ton of questions, so I'm just gonna quickfire them here. Quickfire time! Why did I want to be a furry? Well, I liked pretending to be a werewolf when I was a kid. Also, it just looked very fun. What is my favourite furry convention? Not being to a big convention, but I love London Furs. It's a really fun meetup. How many OCs do I have? Too many. My most used are iolite, tourmaline, xenia, 17, opaline, and I also have Gabriella, inkwell, and echoloid. Why did I choose the species for iolite? Well, I thought Arctic foxes were really cool, and then I also liked fennec foxes when I discovered those, and then I just merged them together. Also a fennec fox because I'm small, and Arctic foxes because I prefer cooler weather. What is my favourite furry species? Fennecs unite! That was really cringe. What is my favourite animal? Snakes! I love snakes. I love all reptiles, but snakes. Snakes are cool! Why did I get iolite as a suit and not another OC? She's my main sona, she has been my entire life since I've been a furry, so it just made sense. Whew! Okay. Let's slow back down. Half asks, can I hit the gritty? What? Echo and Lou ask a similar question, being, who is my favourite furry content creator or my furry star? Honestly, I don't really watch that many furry content creators. I'd say the most consistent one I watch is Pokari-Roo, just because I just find their videos interesting. When I was younger, I used to watch Majira Strawberry and like Telephone and stuff, you know, back when I was like a little kiddo, and everyone watched them. Oh, and I used to watch Rainy Coyote a little bit. Rain Coyote. When I was younger, I used to watch them a lot as well. I even met them at Comic-Con in like 2018 or 2017. Kevin the Shark asks, how do I stay cool in the suit? Well, similarly over on TikTok, Kinda Scribbles asked if the fan I use while I go out and about is good. The fan they're talking about is the one I mentioned earlier, this one, and yes, it is very good. It is USB chargeable, it's a little portable fan, it goes into my mouth when I get cold. What? It goes into my mouth when I get hot, and gives me some nice breeze. It doesn't look silly because it's like a little paw, so it just looks like I'm sticking a paw in my mouth. And yeah, it genuinely is really useful. I've used it outside of suiting, but it's that good. It's so good. Other than the fan, as I said before, drinking room temperature slightly cool water and just generally taking breaks is a good way to keep cool as well. Loki the Deathclaw asks, bloop?
Okay, go ahead. Here you are. Give me a boop.
Oh, wait, you asking me to boop you?
Alright then, here you go.
Boop! Honestly, man, what is my life? What am I doing? 06 Treco or Trico asks, how did I get into the fandom? This guy! Oh, and this video, I'll put it somewhere. This video, that got me started in the actual fandom itself. After seeing all the other things, I was like, wait a minute. Quad suits? That's my goal. Except it's not anymore because I think it would kill me. Based Guy Darkstone asks, what is the single piece of good advice I would give to new furs of the fandom? I'd say my advice to new furries in the fandom or people trying to get into the fandom or younger furs is to just not give up. Don't give up. I know it seems a bit intimidating to try and get into in the beginning, but you don't have to be like fully invested in order to be part of the fandom. You can just watch furry content and enjoy furry content and make furry characters, and that's enough. And if you do want a fursuit in the future, then stick at it. Don't nearly give up like I did. I saved for literally years to get this suit, and I finally did it. I'm not the richest person in the world, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like I'm very poor, but just don't give up. It's such a rewarding fandom. I hope that was good advice. I don't really give advice to people.
Oh, also, if you actually are wondering how to be a furry, I have a video on how to be a furry on a budget. It's the last video I made. You should go watch it.
Shameless promos. Jojo asks, do I have an IG, Twitter, and Facebook to follow? All of my socials and my merchandise and my commission info can be found in the link in the description, the card link. It looks like this link. It can be found down there. Woo! Okay, that was a lot of questions. If you'd like a part 2 to this video, let me know in the comments below. Similarly, if there were any questions that you would like answered from a furry that were not answered in this video, then feel free to comment below and I may answer answer them in that part 2 video if I make it. If you like this video and you want to see more of my content, then click subscribe and tap that bell icon and then click all notifications so you know when I'm gonna, post. The thing that everyone says, you know how to do it by now, right? Like this video if you liked it, it really helps me out, just any engagement whatsoever, it makes me feel very nice that you guys are engaging. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye everyone! Mwah!